Hey Team Toledo, with the 2022-23 season now officially over, it's a good time to reflect on what's been an amazing year for the Rockets. You've probably already heard me say this has been the greatest year in Toledo athletics history, but it's the kind of message that bears repeating. As you probably know, our Rockets won an incredible 6 Mid-American Conference championships this past season, twice as many as we've ever won in any single season. We won league championships in football, men's basketball, women's cross country, men's tennis, and women's tennis, becoming the first and only school in the history of any major conference to win league titles in these sports. Our football team won the MAC championship game and a bowl game for the first time in 21 years. Women's basketball not only won the MAC tournament crown, but went on to upset the number 5 seed and Big 12 champion Iowa State in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Men's basketball became the first current MAC school to win 3 consecutive titles, wrapping an unbelievable streak by Todd Qualtrics' amazing program. We had student athletes win MAC Player of the Year, as well as 5 MAC Coach of the Year honorees. The list goes on, but it goes without saying that we're incredibly proud of the effort of all of our student athletes and coaches and the staff members who support them. I should also mention that it's been a historic season for our Rockets in the classroom as well. Our student athletes established a record grade point average of 3.401 in the fall semester, then topped it in the spring with a 3.472 GPA. That's not common for a department with nearly 400 student athletes, but has become the standard here at Toledo. Those are impressive numbers because it speaks to the holistic commitment of our department, and it leads to what we believe matters most, that every student athlete must earn a meaningful degree during their time at Toledo. This past academic year, we celebrated the graduation of 72 Rockets. There's no prouder moment for me than our student athletes walking across the commitment stage at Savage Arena and joining the ranks of graduates of this great university. It's also been a great year for you, our fans and supporters. You continually step up for us in a big way. Thanks to you, we are the only school in MAC history to lead the conference in attendance for football, men's basketball, and women's basketball. Let me say that again. We are the only school ever in MAC history to lead the league in attendance in those 3 sports in the same year. In addition to your time, you also supported us financially. Whether it was your donation to the Rocket Fund, membership in our newly founded 1923 Society, participating in one of our NIL collectives, or simply by purchasing your season tickets and encouraging your friends and coworkers to join you at our games. Support from the campus and community is vital for us to grow and thrive as a department. That's why we talk so much about Team Toledo. Team Toledo is about everyone in our community locking arms, working together, and celebrate all the things that make the Toledo area such a fantastic place to live, work, and play. That's why I've made it a priority for our teams and staff to become more involved in the community and volunteer activities that help us all. Initiatives such as our 419 Day of Service are just one example of how our teams dedicate their time and talent to serve this wonderful community. I truly believe that together we achieve more, together we can accomplish the impossible. I'll close by saying something that I can't say too often. Thank you. Thank you for your support, for your loyalty, for your enthusiasm for the Rockets. We had a great year in 2022-23, but now is not the time to rest on our laurels. Now is the time to turn this moment into a movement. We have the potential to reach unprecedented heights if we all work together as one Team Toledo. I can't wait to see what the future holds for us, and I can't wait for next season. We're excited to see you on campus next fall. Ultimately, everything we do is about our remarkable student athletes, and today I'm joined by 2 of our very finest, both of whom grew up in the Toledo area. Senior linebacker Dallas Gann of the football team, and Sammy McConowitz of the women's basketball team. One of the privileges of being AD is getting to know our incredible young people. Dallas, Sammy, thanks for joining me today. So typically you guys get interviewed post-game and you're in front of a camera, you got all these reporters asking a lot of questions. Today I thought it'd be fun. Maybe you ask me some questions. So what you got?
You just wrapped up year 1 as our AD. What's been the highlight of our year?
Yeah. It's been phenomenal. It's going way better than I could imagine. I think for me, it really boils down to the people. What I've noticed is this community was really easy to get settled into for my wife and I and our kids. And even though they run around a little crazy at games and everything, people seem to embrace it. I know the women's basketball team, when we were out in Knoxville, I saw my son jumping on the back of Nan Garcia and having a good time in the lobby and just keeping you guys light. And obviously you had a very successful season. But take it beyond that, I think our student athletes are amazing. What you guys do, I don't think people realize you've worked at different institutions around the country, this isn't normal. To have student athletes that do it the way you do it, with the grades you do, winning championships, and oh, by the way, we're not in trouble or having all these articles written about our student athletes of getting in trouble or behaving the wrong way, that is very uncommon in Division I athletics. And I hope we never take that for granted. because it's really, something really special. So the people make it special, but you student athletes are the cream of the crop.
You're working on a strategic plan for Toledo Athletics. What should current students know about this process, and what should we be excited about?
Absolutely. Well, I think we're in a really challenging landscape. I shouldn't say challenging, I should say changing. Change is a constant and it's inevitable, and we can sit around and complain about change, or we can adapt and figure it out. I think the one thing I've noticed about this department is it's an incredible foundation in place already, right? So I think part of our plan is really syncing up, okay, what do we do really well and what do we not want to ever let go or lose sight of, lock that in. And then within this changing landscape, how do we build upon the things that make us special in this new environment to make us even more special, right? I think for current student athletes, that's going to be a lot of doubling down on what we already do well. I mean, we talked about the grades and the GPAs. I mean, we need to double down on our commitment to academics. I think that includes the facilities that you study in and get academic advising or tutoring. I think that's the services we offer. But we do a good job. Let's continue to do a good job in the academic space. I think post-career and post-graduation, I would love to get to a point where we can guarantee 100% placement upon graduation. So if that means the WNBA or the NFL, that means law school, med school, or if that just means getting an internship down the road or your first starter job, making sure you left here with a plan and you were able to execute that plan upon graduation. I don't want you to come to Toledo and leave Toledo and say, golly, now what do I do? I hope that we do our job while you're here to make sure you leave with a plan. I also think getting a meaningful degree is important to me. I think you talk about graduation rates and all the numbers that we put out, and a lot of places put those out. But it's one thing to have a degree. It's another thing to have a meaningful degree of something that you were passionate about, something that you like to study, something that you were excited about going to class every day. And that's not all too common. I think if you find your passion, you can be the best in the world at it. And I think regardless of what we're doing, we should all strive to be the best at it. So finding a degree you're passionate about and then giving you the resources to be successful at both at Toledo and beyond, it's going to be a key piece of our strategic plan as we move forward.
So we're very fortunate to have nice facilities here. I know our weight room is nice. I'm sure football is. Just everything's very nice. What are your impressions of our facilities, and what are your plans?
Yeah. I think you're spot on. I think as I go around the conference and look at other institutions' facilities, we're very blessed here at Toledo, and I'm very proud of that. I also know that we work in a competitive industry, and if you're not moving forward, somebody else is catching up with you and trying to surpass you. So I think trying to figure out right now, what does that look like for the future, and how do we constantly keep our eye on the ball to move this thing forward? So we brought a group in, AECOM, to help us with a facility master plan. So they're looking at all our facilities, all our sports, all our units, what touches every student athlete, and then what would it look like, could it look like, should it look like if we dream big. I don't like safe dreams. I want to dream big. I want to be aggressive. My dad always says, shoot for the moon, land upon the stars. So we want to think big in terms of our facilities, but really with an eye on what serves our student athletes. And then secondary to that, what serves our fans and continues to generate revenue that we can pour back into the student athlete experience. So I think you'll see a combination of things. I think there's been a lot of talk about our baseball, softball facilities and what that should look like. I think this football stadium, what happens in there and what fan amenities we have woven in, and obviously Savage, and how can we enhance an already amazing facility in so many ways. But I'm really excited about the student athlete facing portion. I believe our academic spaces are critical to our future growth and development. I also think they help recruiting. As student athletes come on campus and want to look at a place, your facilities speak to your commitment level before you can actually experience it. So I think that's critically important. I also think how we feed and serve our student athletes from a nutrition standpoint is a big opportunity for us. I think we do a good job in so many areas right now. I think there's another level to that we can take. Because you guys know, you work really hard in the weight room, you work really hard on the court, practice field, whatever, putting in a lot of work to condition your bodies. But I believe if you don't take that next step from a nutrition standpoint and have the right guidance to come in it, you're missing out on the fruits of those labor. So how can we take that next step in that vein? Really make sure we're moving in the right direction. And we've got something that our student athletes can call home, and quite frankly, have a safe space too. This city is big enough that everybody can kind of retreat to their own pockets, right? Dallas, you may go home for a Sunday and have a Sunday meal. Sammy, you may go home for a Sunday meal. I'd love for us to have one place where all student athletes can come together, regardless of sport or background, and say, hey, we're all one rocket together. That's really important to me. So we'll have more information on that as we lead into the fall. I'm really excited about those plans.
I'm sure you get this question a lot. What is your overall vision for Toledo Athletics?
Yeah. It's probably, aside from why do we play football games on Tuesday and Wednesday nights, the top question I get all my speaking appearances and everything else. I think my vision for Toledo Athletics is to be the preeminent program in the MAC. And I think we've done some things the last couple of years to certainly speak to our success within our conference. But how do we take that to the next level? We've got a lot of sports being successful. How do we get the other sports to the same level as our football program and our women's basketball program and our men's basketball program and all the other programs that we have? How do we double down on our academics and, again, cycle through that student-athlete development phase and take that next level? How do we continue to tell our story to a national audience? So we're no longer mentioned as the best-kept secret, and people understand all that happens here. I think that serves all of us in the department. I think that serves you as student-athletes. I want, when you wear that Toledo logo, whether you're on a beach in Los Angeles or you're downtown in Times Square, for people to say, wow, that's Toledo. I know X about them. I know they beat Iowa State in the tournament. I know they won a bowl game versus Liberty. I know they got to the CFP. I know they did this and that. I want that brand. I want this brand of this place to speak to that. And I want us to be a aligning force with our university and our community. What I've experienced so far in this community is just special. It is honestly smack dab in the middle of perfect, I call it. It's big enough to do everything I want to do, but not so small that you can't do a lot of things that you want to do. It is really a perfect combination from a size standpoint. And I'd say the same for our university. I mean, we've got a really good student body, but we've also got this ability to navigate that and have a number of different majors, but you got personalized attention. And so if we can execute on being the best academically, being the best in the community, and being the best athletically like we currently are, I think there's a huge opportunity. And then it's just telling that story and continuing to move us forward. But that's what I'm excited about. And I think what I see is a great foundation in place to take that next step as an athletic department and really let the people know that we're a force to be reckoned with. So, Sammy, women's basketball had a phenomenal year. I was blessed to see it up close in person, and I was just blown away. From the time you guys started the season to seeing you in Ann Arbor, topple Michigan, to the final ball drop in Knoxville facing the Tennessee Vols. What was your highlight of the year?
I think my highlight of the year, I mean, obviously all of it, but I would say just our chemistry and staying together. We had a few games at the end of regular season that were not going our way whatsoever. And I think just us as a team, our team chemistry was so important. And just being with each other, like, I mean, they really are your sisters, your best friends, like, and it's the best thing to just play with them every day. And then just going out there and winning the tournament, winning the conference, like just going to the NCAA tournament, having a win there too. All of those things are highlights, but definitely like just the chemistry and like the relationships that I've built with all of them.
And it's really cool to hear you say that, because like as the old guy sitting up here with you, and I wasn't nearly the athlete you guys are, but what I remember about my college student athlete experience is my locker room and sitting at the dining room table and telling the same stupid jokes that we've told for the last 5 years. We continue to tell them. Even in my wedding, we were still telling the same jokes. And like, those are the memories. I remember the games and the tackles and those kind of things, but I remember those memories in the locker room, because you're right. Those become your brothers and sisters in so many different ways. And those bonds last a lifetime, because you'll never experience anything like it. You can sit in office spaces, you can sit in boardrooms, but you never have that same bond that you get with your teammates. So it's really special. And I think it's maybe something some of our fans and supporters maybe not hear a whole lot about, but it's probably the biggest defining portion of the student athlete experience.
I agree.
So Dallas, I mean, obviously you started your career at Ohio State and chose to transfer to Toledo, but you grew up in the area. I know your family are big pieces of this community. What makes you so proud to be a Rocket?
Man, everything. Like you said, my family's from here. My dad went to school here, and my mom went to school here. My mom was a cheerleader, and my dad played football here. So it's really important to me to, kind of carry on that legacy of what happens here in Toledo, and I've loved every piece of it. This is where I, got the opportunity to go to Ohio State. This people gave me great coaches, great friends for life, great family, everything. And so I owe it to a lot to the city. And I love this community. It's a close community, and it's big enough where you can, create your own opportunities and stuff like that. But it's also a very loving community that supports you and helps you go to big places and do big things. And so I love everything about Toledo. And it's the best decision I ever made transferring back here.
I love to hear that. Love to hear it. Yeah. So next year, what are you most looking forward to?
Winning football games. I think that we had a good year last year, but I think we left a lot on the table. And I think a lot of people know that, especially internally. And I think that we're excited about the opportunity to prove ourselves once again. We're aiming big. We're aiming for the skies. And I think that we have the team to do it. And I'm just excited to, be with this team for my second year now. And I think chemistry is better. I think we got a lot of good players on this team, a lot of good coaches, established coaches. And so I'm just excited about the opportunity that we have to, show the world what Toledo's capable of.
I'm excited. I get goosebumps hearing you say that, because I know how focused I see you guys, and everybody I talk to seems to be aligned on that vision of what can be.
Yeah, everybody knows, what we did last year. It was great. We beat Liberty in our bowl game. We won our MAC championship, which is, which is good enough for a lot of people, but not for us. And I think we know that, there's a lot of bread left to get, and a lot of more games to win, a lot of, that we can get more of. And so I think whole team's aligned with that. Whole culture is aligned with that, and we're just excited to be able to prove ourselves and be able to do that.
I love it. So what are you most looking forward to for next year?
I think just not being satisfied. Obviously, we made it to the NCAA tournament. We won, but we want to go further. We want to win 2, 3. We're not just looking to get there. We're looking to win a few games. Everybody thinks, oh, we won, or we got 1-1. We got to the second round. We want to go further. So obviously, we want to keep winning every game we can. But I think especially trying to make a berth that way and go play as far as we can.
I love how driven you guys are. I mean, it excites me and makes me think, okay, are we dreaming big enough? Are we working hard enough as a department to support you? Because I think you guys know, I mean, you've got a defined period to be a student athlete. You're trying to get absolutely every last drop out of that experience right now, because there may not be it tomorrow. And I think that's a really good reminder for us as administrators, us as coaches, us as staff, that for our student athletes, there may not be it tomorrow. So are we doing everything possible today to make sure we can help set you up for success? So really good. Appreciate you reminding us of that. Thank you guys for your time today. This has been really special. I learned a lot. It was really phenomenal. But I think there's only one way to close this out.
T.O. up.
EDO.
Go Rockets.